I'm going to be doing some painting today. I am in Battleground Games and Hobbies in Abington, Massachusetts. It is a local game store. We do board games, miniature games, war games, card games, all sorts of stuff. And right now, we're going to be painting. We do a regular Friday night board game stream, so you can find the VODs for that up there somewhere. We played last night. What did we play last night, Andy? That's right, we played Room 25 Ultimate. Not at all based on anything. It's very similar to The Cube, if you've ever seen that movie. It's Canadian, look it up. So we had a really good time with it. It cut right down to the wire and we escaped. It's very exciting. So today I'm going to be doing some painting. I'm going to be painting some things that might be slightly familiar to anyone who has joined me in the past. I'm painting these guys again. These guys again. And the reason I am painting the Fallout board game figures again, this is the Fantasy Flight Fallout figures. The reason I'm doing that again is because we are doing an Extra Life charity marathon on Extra Life's game day, which is the first weekend in November. I believe it's the 3rd into the 4th, because it's a 25-hour long marathon, and it's 25 hours because that's daylight savings. So sometime in the middle of the night, it will become like 1 a.m. again, which is always very disconcerting when you've been up for a really long time and you're really tired. So that's going to be cool. That's going to be awesome. We're looking forward to doing that. But one of the things that we do when we run that marathon is raffles for prizes. So donate, get raffle tickets, you get prizes. It's very cool. And one of the things that I decided to donate this year was a painted set of figures for the Fallout board game. It's the whole game. You get the whole game. And the figures will have been painted by me. But that means I need to get my butt moving on that, because I want to have them done and ready to go by the time. So I have like a month to go. I think we have 27 days until Extra Life. So yeah, it's like a month from today. So a month from today at noon Eastern, because we're in Massachusetts, we're going to be starting our marathon. And during the daytime, that means that we will be streaming board games and stuff from right here on the loft. If you're in the area, you can come and join us. If you are not in the area, you can watch us on our stream, because we're going to be streaming as much of it as we can. And we'll be streaming games all day. Sometime after midnight, we'll be attempting to stream Werewolf, because we always play a very large game of Werewolf down in the main store. We're talking 35, 40 people. So it's a really huge game of Werewolf, which leads to all sorts of shenanigans. That'll be a lot of fun. We're going to try and stream it. We're going to see what we can do sound-wise. Sound is always an issue, because when you get that many people, we obviously can't mic everyone. For one, we don't have that many mics and not enough inputs on our soundboard. So we're trying to use like the shotgun mic. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. At the very least, I think we should probably mic Derek, now that we have, who runs the game, now that we have cordless mics. So thanks for that. So yeah, very excited about that stuff coming up. We try to do a ton of different games up here. We're going to see if we can revisit some of our favorite games. Travis, who you might recognize if you watch our board game streams, Travis and I are going to play Mars Golf, which we're both very excited about, because it means we get to send little things flying across the table. And if you've ever watched us play Flip Ships, you know we love that. So we're going to be marathoning games. We're going to have some raffles. We're going to do some giveaways on the stream if we can. Probably mostly books, because those are a lot easier to ship than other stuff, but we'll see. And for now, to get ready for that, I am preparing, I primed some of these guys. I primed my board game figures. I'm really excited about getting a second chance to do these. I actually have reference photos of mine back at home. I didn't bring them with me today, but I had taken photos of them because Andy was sending photos. He wanted photos to send into Modifius, who do the Wasteland Warfare game, which you can actually see a part of here. This is one of the expansion kits. This is one of the Brotherhood of Steel figures from the Brotherhood of Steel expansion. And you can see this has a little bit of flash on it. So I've been trimming that off before I wash these so that I can paint them. So I was sort of working on that while Andy was setting up the stream. They actually look really good. Honestly, it was kind of weird opening these ones up and seeing all this flash because the other ones, there's like nothing. I opened up all three of the expansion packs, the Brotherhood, the Super Mutants, and the Settlers. And this is Brotherhood. You can see there's a little bit of flash on that one. There's a whole lot of like feathery stuff on that one. These are the resin ones. But then when you look at the Super Mutants, there's very little on him. He's got almost nothing. His arms fell off in the bag. That's why they're not on his sprue. But then the Settlers, and I was like, oh, well, those are big. So that, that might explain why they didn't have a ton of extra stuff. But then why is that so weird? If you look at the Settlers, they're small. And there's almost nothing on these guys. They are, and I promise I haven't trimmed any of these guys. There's there's only like a tiny bit there. Yeah, arm fall off boy. So he can hit things with the arm that falls off. Better than Matter Eater lad. Yeah, there's there's like tiny little bits along the edges there. Super clean. So yeah, she's basically got like this one little chunk. Gone now. But yeah, these guys came in very good condition. They had almost no flash on them. So I wasn't really thinking I was going to have a lot of flash. And then I opened the Super Mutants and there was a little bit on them. And then I opened the Brotherhood and was like, oh. So yeah, I think I just probably got a kit that had a bunch. So we're gonna pack that back up. I'm gonna work on those probably next week. Unless I get to a point with today's board game figures when I'm like, I can't look at these for a little while. I need to look at something else. And then I may work on the base game for the Wasteland Warfare. Because I started that last week. I started with the Mutant Hounds and the Deathclaw. I started doing the Super Mutants skin because that's sort of the first layer to work on for them. I'll show those off in a mo. I love that the expansion packs for Wasteland Warfare all come with scenarios and extra decks and stuff. They're nice little expansions. Yes. Scenic bases for everyone, like the bases are all molded, so it's nice. So this is what I was working on last week. I have to do a little bit of detail work on them, but I'm happy with how their skin tone and their bodies are looking. And they're going to look shinier once they have a coat of what's it called? Sealer on them. Once they're sealed. I'm real happy with his tongue. It's good. They started out lime green. So I'm happy with them. They need a little bit of detail work. We got dog meat. Our good doggo. Dog meat is, I'm pretty pleased with how dog meat came out. painting a very tiny German Shepherd is not easy, as it turns out. And the other thing I've been working on from the starter box is this bad boy. This is a Deathclaw. You can see he's much larger. What's interesting about Deathclaws is when normally when I see Deathclaws in the game, I'm shooting at them. I'm not hanging out with them. They're not my friends. They're bad boys and girls. Deathclaw matriarch. So I don't stare at them in game. I'm not like looking at them and being like, "Ooh, that's pretty." I'm more like training my gun on them and trying to shoot them in the belly with a Gauss rifle so that they do not pick me up and bang me against the ground. Which is a thing they do. So I had to really look them up and look at a lot of reference photos for what they actually look like. You think you know, but unless you're actually like looking at them, not with the intent of killing them, but with the intent of like paying attention to what their scales look like and stuff, you don't know. So I paid close attention and discovered that they actually have a very pale underbelly. The underbelly is not just a vulnerable spot for them, which I always take advantage of, but is actually a paler color than the rest of them. It's this pale color, and then they have a pale undercoat that shows up behind their scales and like in between scales. So now that I've painted a lot of the sort of dark overcoat on them, and I'm actually really happy with how the hands are coming out. I've got to go back in and do some more detail work with the light color and like get in there with some fine lines. I did a lot of like dry brushing and highlighting, but the amount of coverage I did end up hitting some spots that obscure that detail. Like this right here is perfect. I love that right there, and right on this side came out really well. This side ended up being a lot darker than I really intended it to be. Like there's not as much, it's not broken up as much. But I'm really happy with how the underbelly came out, with how the tail came out, legs, yeah. So we'll see. But I'm pleased with how he's coming. He's definitely going to be a thing that I keep working on long past when I should probably call it a day. So the other figure that we've got in here that I do want to work on at some point is the Martian. You have your alien here. Anyone who's played Fallout 3 and done the DLC for Fallout 3 might know Mothership Zeta was one of the DLCs where you go up to an alien ship and the aliens are like collecting people from throughout history. So they have a whole bunch of people in stasis from all different time periods, and you sort of free them as you go through the DLC. Spoilers for, a 15-year-old game or whatever. Anyhow, Fallout 4's been out for a couple of years now. But we knew that there were aliens in the game. And Fallout 4, you can also encounter an alien. So, again, spoilers for Fallout 4. If you're adventuring down near Oberlin Station, which is one of the potential places to make a settlement, and it's one of my least liked settlements, I cannot... Ten Pines Bluff, Oberlin Station, and what's the other one that... Greentop Nursery. Greentop Nursery should be like a primo settlement because they've got a greenhouse and they've got an actual structure with an actual roof. So you'd think that would be like just a settlement that's just real nice. Those people are never happy. I give them beds. I give them exercise equipment. I give them cats. They're like still at like 65% happy in all 3 of my games, so whatever for them. But Oberlin Station is one of the settlements that I just can't seem to make happy. They're just always unhappy. And Oberlin doesn't have a great layout. It's like one little tower with space at the top for like 2 beds where the 2 settlers live when you get there. But if you want anyone else to live there, there's no other existing structures. You have to basically build it from scratch. I mean, that's doable, but it also doesn't have a huge footprint. So you basically have to then build up. And there are train tracks and super mutants come up the hill all the time. Very annoying. Near Oberlin Station, there's a little ravine. It's like a little cut in the landscape. If you visit it early, it's just this cut in the ravine. It's just a little like section of like landscaping that dips down and goes back up. If you are looking in the right direction at the right time, sometimes you will see a fireball in the sky and hear it crash. If that happens, guess what? You have an alien ship crash near Oberlin Station, and I guess some of your companions will mention it. I was with Nick, I think, the last time that happened, and he mentioned it, and I was like, wait, I didn't see it, but he did. So I very quickly went and found the crashed alien ship, and you can follow a path and find a surviving alien, and you can get its blaster. So yeah, there are aliens, and the alien in the Wasteland Warfare box was the like pre-order promo, so I have him. So I want to play with him, but right now we're gonna work on some board game figures. So I've just started her. As you can see, she's only just been started. I do have reference photos for my the figures I have at home. Let me see if this works. I'm on a delay here. Yay! Let's see. Yeah, cool. That front photo is a bit blurry, but you can sort of see the idea here. It's based on an actual outfit in the game. Ellie is wearing it, Nick's secretary. It's a pink floral skirt, a sort of denim vest, white t-shirt underneath, and then she's got like work gloves and high-top sneakers. The work gloves, the actual outfit is wearing like socks as arm warmers. So I painted a little sock stripiness there. So I may not have the figures with me today, but I definitely have my reference photos. And then we've got our super mutants, front and back. We've got our survivor. That wasn't a great photo. That's a good one. Our Brotherhood outcast, specifically, it's listed in the game as an outcast specifically, with his Gatling laser. And we've got our ghoul, whom I gave that's not, that was the book drop at my workplace, overflowing. So that's the ghoul. He's got a pinstriped vest I gave him. I was very proud of that. So I'm using those photos as reference, just because I know I already looked up information about these guys. I've already painted them once before. So we primed in black, just because I was priming all of them at once. Primed in black, so I did a little white coat under there. But her skirt is eventually going to be pink. And we're going to do her belt. And her work gloves. We just did her skin. I can't really tell, unfortunately, in this photo. It looks like I did, a flesh tone here on her legs. And then I gave her, like, socks above the edges of the boots. I do remember having to go looking for Converse that were like knee-high Converse All-Stars. And they make those, apparently. That was news to me. What color did I make her hat? I think I decided she stole Piper's hat, and I gave her Piper's hat color. Was a lot more paint on my fingers than I thought I was going to have. The dangers of painting. go. Oh, now you're deciding to come out this spout. Great. It's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah. Well, look at this. It wasn't coming out at all, and now it's like, hey.
That's exciting.
So she's relatively small. I kind of wanted to do her first. Oh, I'm actually going to do her belt black. Oh, no, I looked that up. I don't remember what her belt's actually supposed to be. My photo is not clear enough. I was taking it in my living room. Lighting in my living room, not great, as it turns out. Let's look it up. What's nice about knowing that it's based on an existing outfit is that I can actually look up the existing outfit and get a good close look at. There we go. Okay, so it's like a really dark brown. Cool. Well, that's what I picked, so we're good. We'll do her gloves. So the outfit doesn't actually start out with gloves. The outfit is meant to be like just the sock arms. And but she's definitely wearing work gloves. So we'll do a lighter brown for her work gloves. I'm still like depending on this brush that I hate. I really shouldn't. I should be using a better brush. I've like half destroyed this brush because it was not a good quality brush to start with. And I use it so frequently. That's what I want. That's the blue. I was able to get an actually really good denim look to the original figure. We'll see if I can repeat that. It would be really cool if I do. I'm not going to count on it though. Fallout. I love Fallout. I was just expressing my love for this game. So last time I did these, I basically tried to finish one at a time. I focused on one at a time. This time I think I'm actually gonna try and do like base coats on one, and then base coats on another, and then base coats on the last. Like do detail work all at the same time. You okay?
I constantly punch over when I do this.
Yeah.
And I know it's bad for me. But I can do it.
I keep feeling like it should be later than it actually is, but it's because we got here ridiculously early this morning. It's like one-ish, no, almost 2. I keep expecting it to be like 3.
Living north of the city. Like, yep, I want to come down. Even though I don't want to be here till probably 2 or 3 often, I have to leave by 10:30 or I'm going to sit on the expressway.
Yeah. It doesn't sound fun.
And now I really only have one way to get here because they decided to close 2 of the 4 lanes on one of the critical bridges in California.
Yep.
And they didn't really tell anyone until the day they did it.
Great.
Yeah, that was a surprise. What the hell is this? And I saw lights around the corner. I'm like, oh, okay. And then somebody got an ad. Wait, what? The only good thing, they actually put up some temporary lights to assist in the merge portion of the program.
That's good.
Which is good, because yeah, otherwise it would have been an epic disaster. But yeah, still, like, really, this is what we're doing right now? Okay, till April. Till April. And that dumps onto the road the casino is being built on, so that's...
Oh, yeah, it would. See, I'm just dealing with the Wollaston Tea Station.
Yeah.
And the fact that that's due to go through next summer. So that's great.
We're having that conversation at work the other day about transit around here, fixing the T and all that. So, yeah, the problem with the T is that to fix the T, you would need to shut it down for a year, 2
Yeah,
years,
and there's
it's
just
not
no...
doable.
Yeah, you just can't do that.
As you probably well know, with how Boston is constructed, it's an artificial city, you can't just punch tunnels.
No.
And even if you could,
It would be, yeah.
you still have to make the stations here. Like, they could never make State Street Station today, where it's not only
Yeah.
under, but technically in the old State House.
Yeah.
But there was kind of an interesting comment about it. Basically, Boston's also reaching the point, not just for infrastructure, but it's going to need to decide what it wants to be.
Yep.
Does it want to be like an innovative hub, or does it want to be a giant living museum? Because everything's historical, and nothing can be knocked down or moved or...
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the only way around some of these problems, guys.
Sounds like him. Hey, what's up?
How's it going? Got some folks who are playing Star Wars Legion, and some of the pieces have fallen apart, so I need some glue and a...
Ah.
This one I can't find.
My glue is bent now, that it gets plugged. Find out.
And I have one there. Glue I don't mind sharing because it goes bad. So,
So what I've discovered recently, well, not recently, this is actually a long-term discovery going back to like college. The handle that I've been using online for a very long time is apparently, and I didn't know this when I created it because I created it when I was in like middle school, when I got my very first email address on a like Pine-based email service back in the early 90s, because I'm old. I had no way of knowing at the time that the name that I picked is a semi-common name in Indonesia, which I have now learned because a handful of people who have that name accidentally give out my email address, or people assume that my email address is theirs. And it seems to be legit, and it's different. It's like a lot of different people. But all from Indonesia, and I've been able to find people with that name. So everything that I've been able to find, it's like legitimately people reaching out to someone they think they know and trying to have a conversation in a language I don't read or speak. So I've had to run that through some translators to figure out what exactly are they trying to say to me. And it's all like just, hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while, you know, we should get together, give me a call. But like no number or anything, so it's not like fishing for anything, it's just the sort of thing you would send to someone that you hadn't seen in a while. So it's interesting. Every once in a while I'll get like an add me invite for a social networking site that is unique to like Indonesia and Malaysia. So I get these emails every so often that are just not actually meant for me. And every time I get them, I have to like, I'm like, oh, yep, someone gave out this email address again as theirs and forgot to like add a number or something to the end of it because I got my Gmail address very early. Like not too long after Gmail became a thing that like the general public could get addresses on. And so I've had it for a long time, which means it doesn't have any numbers after it. And it's just 6 characters and that's it. And no digits or underscores or X's or anything, just the name. And I do get a fair amount of, it's not even spam because it's not sent to lots of different people. It's not phishing for anything. It's not asking for any personal information. It's like, so-and-so added you on this like social networking app, or so-and-so added you on some job networking site, and then I look it up and it's like, yeah, it's for people in Indonesia. And I'm like, no, not me. Someone they thought they knew the address for, and instead it's me. White girl in the US. So that's always amusing to me. I was like, no, not me. I am not who they think I am. And I'm relatively certain, like, if I tried emailing them back, being like, I don't know you in English, they'd have to translate that, and it would be a big ordeal, so I just block them. When their emails start bouncing, they'll figure out that it's not the right address. Instead of me repeatedly trying to explain to someone in Indonesia that I'm not their friend.
It still floats around somewhere, but there's a picture of a guy from, I think somewhere in Indonesia, showing his ID. And yes, his name is in fact Batman Superman.
Awesome.
Which is Batman Superman.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I just, I don't hold any ill will towards these folks. It's an honest mistake. There was a guy for a while from, I think Finland was where I finally figured out he was from, who had, the name that I have happens to be a combo of his first initial and last name. Just so happens. Not my intent, but apparently it is someone's name. And I was getting like emails from his friends trying to invite him places in Finnish. I had to, That happened in college, actually. That was like when I had a Yahoo email. Or Hotmail. Oh god, maybe it was my Hotmail address. That's dated. People still use Hotmail. Did you know that? Quite a few, judging by how frequently I get Hotmail addresses given to me at work.
You should have just said yes. Just got on a plane, gone to Finland. Like, you invited me to this party.
Hey, if they wanted to pay for airfare for me to fly over from the U.S., I would have done it. But somehow I don't think that was on offer.
Yeah, I guess technically we did. Here, have a drink. We invited you. You said yes.
I suppose one of my friends, her, I guess her email address sometimes accidentally has gone out to some guy who's trying to set up like golf times, like tea times with his friends. And she let it go for a while until they started talking politics, and she was like, nope. She's like, this is actually kind of funny. Oh wait, no, it's not funny anymore. She was like, oh, these people have money. I don't have that, so my concerns are not their concerns.
First off, I don't golf. I tried it. I didn't enjoy it enough to want to continue. And I was really bad at it. It wasn't fun enough for me to be like, I want to spend time and effort to not be bad at it.
Yeah.
And I think it was like $100 a head.
Ooh.
I was like, I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Spend on something I don't really want to. Wish I did. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I don't have money to go spending on something like that. That's not, no. No, my brother golfs. And that's great for him. I never really got into it. I never minded, like my dad golfed. I don't think he's been golfing in a while, but he did golf for a while. And my grandfather golfed, oddly enough. He didn't have money, but he golfed. But my brother and my dad both golf, and it's been nice for both of them to have like a thing to do together, which is cool. My brother will actually like just go golfing. So that's cool. I don't have the money for that. Golfing's expensive. You gotta like have clubs. Clubs are expensive. You gotta have the shoes. Those are expensive. You gotta like pay for tee times and stuff. Nah. I'm good. I'll spend my money on miniatures to paint instead. I want to play Fallout again. Andy's been using our extra monitor because I found that the TV that we use in our bedroom, just the resolution on it and the distance that it is away from where I sit is not great. They end up with a headache, which sucks. I actually do want to do the sock on her arm, so I'm going to do what I did on my other figure.
Afternoon and night. Building stuff in Minecraft, playing music on their phone really loud. Even specifically, like, here you go. These are headphones. These are for you. So no one
No.
we have about 50% of our musical taste is like totally in tune. We love the same stuff.
And then not so much.
50%, like, I can't stand 50s and 60s bubblegum pop. Not a big Taylor Swift fan either.
I would totally have pegged you as a huge Taylor Swift fan.
Well, it's weird because, like, I actually really like Lady Gaga.
It's not, but it's not the same.
Yeah, no. I think she actually has real musical talent and artistic talent, not just a. I don't know what to describe the other stuff as. Like, yeah, this is a huge musician. Okay, cool. I guess, yeah, you think about the really not the same genre of this sort of get lumped in.
Yeah, I mean, they both sort of come up as pop, but one is a little more. I mean, Amanda has opinions about music. Lady Gaga, to me, pushes envelopes a tiny bit more. Maybe not always successfully, but is far more willing to experiment, I feel, and have that experimentation actually matter. And she seems to pay attention to other musical genres in a way that I think Swift is more. I mean, she's making what's gonna sell an album and make money, and there's something to respect about that. You know, she knows what her audience wants, and she's gonna give it to them, and that's great. That I don't have any enmity towards that. It's not to my taste. And not all of Gaga's stuff has been to my taste. But I have liked more of her stuff than I haven't.
I loved Dave Grohl's commentary on something. Somebody, one of his friends, said something to him, came to, that somebody, I think it was Kesha, so his guilty pleasure. It's like, I hate this entire concept. There's no such thing as guilty pleasures. You either like something or don't. Like Kesha. That's fine.
Also, she writes her own stuff. She actually, I actually have a lot more respect for her than I think a lot of people, I think is popular too a lot of the time.
Just like the music.
Yeah, enjoy it and own it. I don't like what you like.
I don't like most reality TV. If
Yeah.
you put Bar Rescue on, I will watch it. I feel bad about myself. I'm like, why? I don't know. I enjoy the show.
Do you enjoy watching him berate people for serving raw chicken strips? Because I certainly find that enjoyable. No, what? No, I've never watched Bar Rescue in my life. I have totally watched Bar Rescue. I have actually watched a fair amount of reality TV, and my reasoning behind that is, one, it's perfectly decent, mindless stuff to watch. If you don't want to have to think too hard about like what you're watching, it's a really good option, which is why it makes very good workout television for me. If I'm in my living room and I am attempting to do a workout, guess what? I don't want to have to invest a lot of brain into what I'm watching. I want it to keep me entertained and distracted so that I'm not thinking about time and I'm not thinking about when's my break and when do I get water and when is this over and oh, my foot hurts and oh, I'm tired. No, I want something that will totally engross me but not make me have to work. Yeah, which is exactly it. Dan's not mic'd, but I will repeat what he said. When you are doing something monotonous, like a treadmill, you just watch the clock, unless you have something to engage your brain. But I've found that when I work out, if I have something that's requiring too much brain power from me, then I'm needing to take a break from it where there would be commercials, but if I'm watching it on demand or I'm watching it having like purchased it through like iTunes or something, I need that break because there's so much going on that I have to process, and having to process without a break while like jogging is just really hard. Orphan Black I watched while I worked out, and that was at the edge of what I can actually process while I'm working out. That was hard, but I enjoyed the show enough that I was willing to do it, but really it needs to be something that I enjoy enough to have that not be an issue. That being said, having something to like distract your brain while you're exercising, if you're exercising in place, is really good, and it turns out reality television is really good for that. It's just engaging enough without being, like, nice. It's just engaging enough without being too much for my brain to handle.
The bases are still wet.
That's really nice. Dan's been working on stuffed fables. I'm going to show off when the bases are wet, but have the like old doll. Trying to be very gentle. Lion. These look really good. Those are awesome. Let's keep on painting a super mutant. Those look awesome. The detail on like the little sock doll is awesome.
Here's a challenge. As I'm looking at the picture, wait, oh no. More stripes.
Yep.
And there were some colors on here I just couldn't do.
Yeah.
The green and white button eye, like, no.
Yeah, no, that's not at that scale. It's not happening. Yeah, there were a couple of things that I had to do at like a very tiny scale for the Doctor Who figures. And I was like, no. Like, have you looked at these guys?
Yeah, I saw those stripes, so they were really good. I didn't see the guy with the scarf.
Oh yeah, take a look at him. The scarf is accurate, by the way. Because it turns out that when when you have knitwear of some kind in a TV show, knitters will attempt to make it. Which, yeah, I mean, you think about that, you think, oh yeah, that makes sense. But that also means that you end up being able to find very detailed knitting patterns for knitwear that is out there. And the thing about the Fourth Doctor is that he had many seasons. He had the most seasons of like any of the other Doctors. And how did the board game compare in scale? I will get to that in just a second. But yeah, what's it called? The scarf had several different incarnations, because if you're wearing it all the time, and it's huge, and it's knitted, eventually it gets pulls, it gets like destroyed, it gets, stitches get dropped, and yeah, it's just a mess. So there were several incarnations of it, and consequently, if you go on Ravelry, which is a knitting social media and pattern sharing site, you can find the pattern for every one of the scarves, telling you what colors and what brands of yarn you can use to approximate the color matches, and how many rows to do in each. So I think that's pretty cool. But it also meant that I was able to look up the outfit that this is clearly modeled off of, find out what scarf to use, and then match the scarf to the knitting pattern. So scale-wise, Andy, pretty close. There's Wasteland Warfare. Board game. So those are pretty close in size. And yes, this is the stuff that just came. I would say that the scale on this guy, his head is a little bigger. Let's liken. She's a tiny bit larger. She's done as if she's taller than her, but at a slightly smaller scale. You can tell by the size of their heads and faces, and their hands. She's a little bit bigger. She's like the same height, really, but in terms of the scale of all of her features and stuff, the scale on this one is a bit bigger. The features it's all done a little bit more exaggerated, whereas this is done very tiny. It's meant to be fine detail. But like, if I put her up against him, that still feels very true to how big a Deathclaw looks when I'm staring up at it as a character, except if I'm in power armor, in which case we're talking about yay big. So there's power armor. To power armor, and those are meant to be very similar models. That's meant to be the same model of power armor. You can tell by the features, by the shoulder pads. I actually think I like the molding on the shoulders better in this one. This one's a little less distinct. There are their backs. Bigger scale on this guy. You can see everything's wider. The board game, yeah, like their height is comparable, but the board game, everything is just a little bit wider, a little bit thicker, and so the detail is a little bit more pronounced. Hi. Yes, thank you for joining me. Yes. So yeah, the board game figures are, the size, the height of the figures is very comparable. It's very, very, very similar. The super mutants, I would actually say, are almost identical in terms of their sizes. These two are wearing much the same outfit. Down on the skirt, you can see he's got that panel with the sort of halved circle. And they've both got sort of another panel there. So you can see they're very similar in terms of their look. And the height is very, very similar. It's not too far off. But the board game is just a little bit bigger. Not by a lot, but close. So, actually pretty close. So not off by a lot, which is really cool. I like that. I like that they've made things very similar. Hey Andy, that alien respawn thing is trying to upgrade again on your computer. And I have a wired mic, so I can't clear it. I'm glad that didn't have paint on it. I am going to need to take a very tiny break in just a moment. I have a pressing need, born of the fact that I have had a fair amount to drink this morning. Not like booze-wise, I don't drink booze, but liquid-wise, I've had a fair amount to drink this morning. I'm going to need to take a break of necessity at some point in the near future. I'm not sure if Andy is listening or if he could even do anything about that from where he is. I don't know how busy it is. There he is. Amazing. Hey.
Did I hear something about taking a short break?
Yeah, I need to take a break born of necessity. But I should be pretty quick. So I'll be right back.
You're back.
I'm back! Hooray! Like I said, only gone for a moment. Let's get back to base coating this guy. Okay, there's more flesh under there than I had really realized, so that's cool. Be asking yourself, why is this super mutant wearing such a lovely shade of blue? And the answer is it's not actually a lovely shade of blue once he's done with it. What I discovered is that the sort of shoulder rags, which is the outfit that this is based on, are they're sort of a grayish, almost like a ghostly gray, and there is a bluish tinge to them, and then they're dirty. So these are going to be sort of this very pale blue to start with. And then we're going to be going over it with a few washes. There's a lot of really, really good texture in here. So it holds a wash really nice, which is great. Someone is playing some sort of video game downstairs that has like that old school music. It's actually really grating. Normally I don't mind it, but it's starting to really get to me. I apologize if I'm drifting off camera. Actually, I find the Super Mutants to be a lot of fun to paint. I don't have to worry about approximating a true human skin tone, for one. And they've got lots of fun detail in their rags and their armor and stuff. I think I actually want that dark gray instead.
Why is there, Andy, so why is there a question mark after Mice and Mystics in that quote? Because we know it was from Mice and Mystics, like we put it in at the time. Thank you.
showdown players. I have parents here for round one. I'm going to post them right up here so that you guys can find the partners. Once everybody is seated, I'll match out match record.
think he's looking pretty good. I'll let him sit for a little bit. Now the reason I didn't prime this in gray is because they were actually sort of a grayish tan to start with, and I was priming everything else in black. But so this is a Brotherhood Outcast. And the Brotherhood Outcasts have like a very dark metallic Brotherhood of Steel armor, power armor, that they have then highlighted in red. So I actually did originally, my Brotherhood figure looked like this. And the way I accomplished that was by basically doing a dark metallic, a black wash, or a dark metallic red sort of highlights, and different than highlighting, just highlights as if they've sort of splashed red paint in specific places. And then a black wash. That means I can go over this with a gray, because then I don't have to do a billion coats of metallic. And if I miss a few places where it's black, it's no big deal. The reason I'm doing these today is because I really do have a time frame for these that I don't really have for Wasteland Warfare, much as I want to work on Wasteland Warfare. This has a very specific time frame, and I only get so many days in the week to work on this. I get like 1 day a week to work on these, because my house is not a place to paint. I don't have a workspace to paint at, and there's too much cat hair in my house. It's not so much, oh, there's cat hair on my desk. It's that, one, I don't have a desk.
Raise your hand and say, Judge, Bernie will help you out, because he is a judge. I will be putting a timer up on the wall, and you have 52 minutes.
Yeah, I got distracted by Andy talking about standard. My apartment has cat fur and no good space. It's a small apartment. And so there's not really a good place. It's out of the way. And I would very much like to be able to paint these without getting cat fur in them, and to paint them and have them done. So, working on them now. Thrilling job of me slapping gray paint onto power armor. Guess what? Gonna be doing it again with Wasteland Warfare. This is the same model. That's what, like, I have to look it up and see which model it is. I almost exclusively wear XO1, so. I like getting the fancy Nuka-Cola Quantum power armor from the Nuka World expansion. It's real pretty. But there is a set of Nuka-Cola power armor, like regular Nuka-Cola power armor you can get. And there's other sets of XO1 you can get in various places. So I try to put on XO1 as soon as I possibly can, and then never take it off. When I do take it off, I am wearing the Silver Shroud armor. I really like the Silver Shroud outfit. Black trench coat, silver collar. I cosplayed as the Silver Shroud a couple of years ago at PAX East. I think it came out really well when I did. I was really proud of myself. I think next time I do this, I am actually going to bring my own figures, just because the photos are giving me a really good idea of like general stuff, and obviously today is all about base coats and just sort of getting a roadmap for them down. But a lot of the detail work that I did on them, you can't make out in the photos as well as I would like to. Again, the lighting in my apartment is not awesome. One more reason why it does not make a great place to paint. Like, if I really wanted to, I could set up a painting station in my living room, but the lighting is so bad I'd have to put in more lights, and it's a pain in the butt.
slap that paint right on there.
Yep, that's what I'm doing. Guess what it's time for? It's time for a vault suit. Big advantage that the characters that you have to put together, the figures you have to like assemble, have over over the pre-assembled characters is that pre-assembled characters you have to deal with all of these spaces that are covered by the things that they're holding. Toshi is very excited by something. I don't know what it is he's excited by. He was excited about a pun. Notice that I am not responding to him. Anyone who is new to my videos, Toshi's a friend of mine. He lives in my computer. He lives in another state. He enjoys causing me immense amounts of pain by sharing horrible puns that he has found on the internet. And he just shared one and said that's grounds for murder, right? Yes, so it's good that I'm in another state, because
I'd have to kill him.
So I've done the skin tone for both the sort of settler and Nate there as a tan skin tone. I think I'm going to end up going with a darker skin tone for the settler. But for contrast reasons, to know that I've actually caught all the skin tone on a black base. I think a paler skin tone was a good choice to start with. If I was priming in a lighter color, that would be a different story. For the ghoul, because I want to do this sort of ghoulified redness to their skin, I am going to start with a paler flesh tone because he's going to end up very red and rotted in places, so he's actually going to end up with a lot different skin tone going on. Andy, I don't know if you're listening right now, but some of the boys downstairs are talking about some things that I'm not super comfortable with, and I will tell you about it later, but it kind of stinks to be sitting up here and having to listen to them. My mic might not catch them, but it's not okay. Not fun. The thing is, I know most of it is just like teenage boys trying to impress each other by how offensive they can be. But it's still not fun to listen to. the texturing on the ghoul's skin. Like, I knew when I did the first one that, like, it was good. It was really good. But I am impressed all over again by it right now.
Round 2, going up now. Round 2.
Actually, I want his shirt to actually be white because when I dirty it down, he's wearing a suit. He's a very dapper ghoul. He wants to be a gentleman ghoul. Like, this is a civilized ghoul. This isn't a feral ghoul. And, you know, any ghoul who makes an effort to wear a vest with, like, a watch chain is a ghoul who cares about appearances. And he's probably trying to keep that shirt somewhat clean. Oh, it's almost 4 o'clock. That is pretty wild. feel like I just heard this song. It might not have been that recent, though. A lot of swearing going on down there. A lot of swearing going down. It's like they've just discovered it and want to make as much use as possible in case it's taken away. Not that I can talk. I had a filthy mouth as a teenager. I was in many ways a very, very, very well-behaved teenager. I was a very well-behaved teenager. Didn't drink. Didn't do drugs. I didn't stay out super late unless I was like doing something for school. But God, I swore like a sailor. Not usually at home, but at school, man. All right. I think they've all got a pretty good like base for me to work off of more on like Monday. Actually, let's do a metallic on him. And we'll leave them at that, and I'll work a little bit on Wasteland Warfare. And by then, I think we'll probably call it a day. Maybe time for Andy and I to head home. Or at least head out of the store. I'm going to need to buy a new bottle of something approximating that. It has plenty in it, but it's getting harder and harder to get paint out of it, which is really annoying. Hey.
Hey, so I heard you finished the base coat on everybody pretty much.
Yeah, I'm just doing a last metallic coat on this guy, and I think I'm going to work a little bit on Wasteland Warfare, but maybe not on camera. Because I don't want them to be super wet when we leave. I want to be able to put them away. So
you're done doing that coat you're doing now, or?
Yeah, let me do this. It'll probably take me another like 5 or so minutes, and then I'll be... Okay. More paint. Hey DG Dell, how's it going? I'm sorry to say I'm sort of finishing up for the day within the next few minutes. It's very good to see you. Been painting Fallout figures for our Extra Life event. Aw, thank you. I think they're coming out pretty well. So what I'm doing actually is painting the Fallout board game figures again, because that is my offering for this year's Extra Life raffle, is a set of painted Fallout board game figures, and the game, but the figures are painted. So I've opened it, but I've only opened it for the purpose of getting the figures out and painting them. And that's going to be one of the raffles here. One of the raffle prizes for Extra Life. Yeah, I'm really happy with the idea. But it means that I do have a deadline for getting them done, which is, I have a month, which, given that I only get 1 day a week to really work on them, aside from this week because of Columbus Day. But most weeks I only get one. Yeah, I'm hoping they bring in a lot of tickets. I'm really excited about Extra Life this year. But I wanted to come up with a good offering. So I just finished doing base coats on the figures, doing sort of their very basic colors and stuff. And now they'll get to dry. Very basic color work on these guys. And then I'll be able to do detail work next week. So, and then I'm gonna go back to working on Wasteland Warfare on the mini game. So I was working on that stuff last week. Did some work on these puppos. And I was going to do a little bit more work on them today. So we're going to get some Exactly. Yeah, it's all like I got all the base work done. Hey, avoiding major drama is always nice. I myself do not enjoy drama. It's like one of my least favorite things in general, especially at work. And I am one of those people where everyone wants to tell me things. Everyone wants to share their current frustration and annoyance with me. So I end up sort of hearing all about everyone's ire with each other. God, is it exhausting. You've been talked into playing WoW again. My condolences. Boy, that sounds horrible. That sounds like exactly the sort of thing I want to avoid. How did this guy get glitter on him? How did that happen?
Yeah.
ferocious Sparkles. That's his name, Sparkles. It's Sparkles the mutant hound. Okay, I think these mutant hounds are done. I think if I do any more with them, it's going to ruin them, and I'm going to regret it. So we're going to leave those mutant hounds alone now. I think I want to leave that. I want to leave that Deathclaw for later. Welcome back. So I think I actually need to look up some Super Mutant like outfits. We'll have a little Super Mutant fashion show before I start to work on these pieces. So I just want to get an idea of the materials that are used by the Super Mutants. I know they use like a lot of car parts. So.
Oops, wrong color.
I dipped my brush in the wrong color.
Clear as much of that off as possible. I am probably going to be shutting down the stream in about 5 minutes or so.
Because I want these guys, I don't want to put them away wet, and we'll be leaving a little after 5. So I want to give them a chance to dry before I put them away. So basically, as soon as Andy can get away from the counter to shut things down.
Yeah, thank you.
I am, however, going to be possibly streaming on Monday because I do have the day off, being a municipal employee as I am. I have the day off for Columbus Day, so I will be most likely, unless something comes up, I will be at the store and I will be painting. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to be doing Monday, whether I'm going to paint more of these guys or whether I'm going to try and bang out the
Board game figures?
but Monday, sometime during the day, I will be painting at some point. So there is more painting to come. Figure I've got the paint, I might as well use it. Especially since the shadowed steel is such a pain to get out. But thank you for joining us, DG Dell. It was good to see you. I hope we will see you soon in the future.
Yeah.
If not Monday, then you will be working. Well, I will be on again next week, probably on Friday in the afternoon. And then we'll be doing our board game stream in the evening. Yeah, we have no idea what we're playing yet. Something vaguely spooky, probably. So, it was good to see you. I hope you have a good Saturday night. And
Thank you for popping in.